Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Monday. We got a loaded show. Krackomberger's going to join us. Steve Merrill's going to join us. Gianni's going to join us. But Dan, get on in here. Foot and a half? Is that what you got?
Yeah. I hope everyone who is tuning in, at least on the East Coast or really all over the country, is thawing out. We didn't even know there was going to be snow in Denver. Absolute blizzard to end that football game. So, yeah, Andy, winter no longer coming. Winter is here, and it is here with a vengeance. But we're thawed out. You and I were talking. We're like psychopaths that enjoy shoveling snow. So figure that out. Free workout is the way that I look at it. But we're here on a Monday. We're thawed out. We're ready to go, and we got a hell of a show because, we're kicking it off with Gianni The Greek. We'll talk about this opening Super Bowl line, get some thoughts from him, obviously, on the hardwood today. Abbreviated slate. Steve Merrill's going to talk about two of those college basketball games on here. Crackman is going to be on here. How did his weekend go? Bill Krackomberger. We'll get a prop from him as well. So a fun Monday show, Andy, but yes, a frigid Monday show. So we're hoping everybody is safe out there, man.
All right, we're going to do the free version of the WTF LFG. Dan does not have. Yeah, so here's how it works. Yeah.
Well, Andy, and I was thinking about, like, do I force a play? Do I look at the free picks page? And I was like, no, that's not how we do WTF and LFG. We pick a play every day, and it's follow or fade. This one, Andy's having. I was like, Andy, I could give him a lacrosse play, but it doesn't go until Saturday. That's not fair to you guys. So, Andy, what are we going to do for today's WTF or LFG? Get him a free play right out of the gate here.
Okay, well, I just recorded Puck Time with Andrew. Shout out to Carm. You and I love shoveling snow. Carm does not.
He threw out his back.
Shoveling snow.
Slipped the disc.
Yes, but we're going to do a hockey prop in honor of Carm.
Ooh.
It is David Pastrnak to have an assist. He has 6 assists in his last few games. He plays the Rangers, and the Rangers have been absolutely terrible, and they are worse at home than they are on the road. But Dan, in the last game that David Pastrnak played against the Rangers, how many assists do you think he had?
Oh, man, Rangers. We talking 2 or more?
6.
Oh, that's a little bit more than the posted number, Andy. That's just a slight amount higher last time he played.
This is the game that the Bruins put the beat down on the Rangers. So I'm putting this as the LFG WTF because if we don't bring it up and it wins, it was like, well, what are we doing here? What
are we doing?
How could you not go back to that? So Dan, Pasta, does he have the assist or does he come off the six assist game? He's got 6 assists in his last 3. Let me know in the chat. But Dan, what say you? LFG WTF.
Comment below and let us know. Well, as long as a blizzard doesn't happen in the second or third period in this game, you're pretty good because we were also looking good on the Drake May prop that we had until he didn't even have to throw a pass in the second half. Hard to throw an interception if you're not throwing a pass. So, Andy, as long as there's no snow inside of the arena, this is going to be an LFG for me. Let's go Pasta over the assists. Yeah, 2 guys had hat tricks that last one. Let's run it back, Frank. Let's have it happen again. We're not betting any hat tricks. We're just betting some Pasta assists. I love it, Andy. I love it.
Let's bring in Gianni and get his thoughts on Super Bowl opening line. We'll
what up, Gianni?
Recap some UFC. Gianni, happy Monday. How are you?
I wish I bought some gold 2 years ago. A little bit more, man. Wow. Just keep going up. Not a good sign for our U.S. dollar. Yeah, not good for our U.S. dollar. But with that said, what a great weekend. Now I lost my UFC bet on Saturday. With that said, I'm so excited about 2026 ahead and what I have planned for MMA coming off a losing year. But more importantly, football continues to crush. Finished the NFL regular season #1 in profit. Over the last 2 weeks, I just stuck to my power ratings in the playoffs. I said that with the start of the divisional round. I'm just going to stick to my own numbers. 14-6-1 over the last 2 weeks. Sides, totals, and player props. Finished #1 in 2025 NFL player props over 66%. 58 bets over 55 units won. So I'm excited for the Super Bowl. In fact, I had 4 lines already created. Seattle versus New England, Seattle versus Denver, Rams versus New England, Rams versus Denver. I had the sides created and I had the totals created. And all I was waiting for is to see the matchup. Once we saw the first game ended, I just had 2 lines up. Seattle versus New England, Rams versus New England. As soon as those games went final, right away my power ratings supported value on a side, and I immediately this morning sent out a 5% to my subscribers. Ooh. So I'm going to trust my numbers with the Super Bowl. No reason to delay the bet. We're on a 5% side. I should have the total because the power rating reflects the total as well, but just going to wait a little bit there to see how that line settles. And then it's just focus on player props. I should start firing player props probably tomorrow night, Wednesday and Thursday at the latest. They'll start coming up. And like I said, we'll have a lot more risk on player props than we will on the side in total when it's all said and done. So really excited about the Super Bowl, brother. But between now and 2 Sundays from now, we have a lot of college basketball, NBA, NHL, MMA, and all that good stuff to take advantage of.
Well, and VR, before we get into stuff that you're seeing here today, obviously on the hardwood, talk a little NHL. We'll get some folks some steam for today. Hasn't betting props in the Super Bowl completely changed? Because it used to be, you got to wait for the big prop sheet to come out in Vegas, and then it's after that. But once the matchup's already set, you have these regulated, nationwide sports books like DraftKings, like FanDuel's. The props are already starting to pop up. So how has the approach to betting Super Bowl props changed for you just in this short term, the last 4 or 5 years? Because it's a completely different frontier.
Yeah, what a great point. But they use the same template. That's the key. That's why they have these props ready. They have the exact same template, and they simply adjust the betting odds slightly. And that's where guys like myself are able to take advantage because they don't adjust significantly enough based on the matchup. And year after year, you find those same props that offer up value, like the overtime props and stuff like that. That the recreational bettors tend to like the long shots, and the sharper bettors are comfortable laying chalk to make a return on investment. And that's how it usually goes with the props. But with the legalization in every state, like player props have become so huge. They're now the majority of the action being booked on the Super Bowl. Like there was a time they were a very small part of Super Bowl action. In fact, the only reason they even created props was back in the late 80s, early 90s. The Super Bowls were so one-sided that people stopped watching them. And nobody wanted to pay $1 million, $5 million for a commercial if no one's sticking around for the third and fourth quarter, because these were blowouts, if you remember. I remember. So what they did is they had to get creative, and they did it in 85 with the fridge, with the Chicago Bears, and will the fridge score a touchdown? That was it, because they wanted to add excitement to the game when it was a 2-touchdown favorite. Remember, in that game, Chicago was like 2-touchdown favorites over the Patriots. They were supposed to blow the Patriots out. That's what happened. So rather than have nobody care about that game, they said, let's add a prop. Will the fridge score a touchdown? Everyone and their mother bet the yes. The fridge scores a touchdown, and that opens the floodgates for props from then on. But the reason they're going to come out so quickly is because, like I said, there's that template that they have, the set template that they follow, simple adjustments based on the matchup. But now, come about towards the end of this week, that's when the books start to individualize, and each property starts to get creative. And that's where we can really find value, because that's where some bookmakers are willing to have an opinion, and they're creating their own props. And the goal is to try to be as creative as possible to try to get some kind of attention so that you could, get more and more customers. That's the goal now. Between now and the Super Bowl, it's how can we entice people to sign up to bet the Super Bowl through us? And the way they're going to do that is by throwing out some props and, some exciting props and some stuff that they're not going to take much action on, but everyone's going to talk about. And that's where all the money's going to come. And again, people are going to bet the side, people are going to bet the total. But when the dust settles, I would say that the majority of the money, more than 50, 60%, will be on the props as opposed to the side or total. And that's totally changed from, back when shit, even 10 years ago, when the majority of the money was sides, totals, and very little props. Now it's mostly props, and the side and total isn't even that big of a deal. That's why you won't see much of a line move between now and kickoff.
Gianni, I remember hearing a story, one of the sports books that got creamed on that fridge touchdown. Like somebody was like, "Oh my God, this is awful. Like I'm going to get fired." And the owner was like, "No, this is the greatest thing ever." Like,
yeah, it's not like the only thing worse was I was here for the Rams when the LA Rams moved to St. Louis. They started like 4-0, and they were still like 100-1 at a handful of books. And you got to remember, Vegas has a lot of California people that visit week in and week out. So they were coming from LA, and these guys are Rams fans, even though they're in St. Louis. So looking up at the board, they're like, damn, the Rams are 100-1 and they're 4-0. And they booked a lot of action at 100-1 and even greater at some properties. And when that Super Bowl finished, a handful of guys lost their jobs for having that odds still up there and not adjusting it for a 4-0 team. So yeah, that stuff happens on occasion. You'll find inefficiencies, man, even in the NFL.
Well, let's talk some of these opening lines, and then we'll do a little recap on UFC. Anything of note with the Super Bowl that you're seeing right now? If not, we can move into college basketball or any of the hoops for today.
No, I think this is what everyone expected. I mean, this is what they were talking about, that Seattle would be about a 5-point favorite over New England. They'd be a touchdown plus over Denver. So this is what was expected. We didn't see too much of a move. When it opened at 4.5, we saw it go to 5, and then we saw it come back. And that's what usually happens. Now, between now and probably Sunday, Andy, we're going to hear the books are flooded on Seattle because the favorite usually gets the money early on if the line's moving that way. So you're going to hear we're flooded on Seattle. The books are going to need New England. If New England wins outright, it's even better for the books, blah, 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 blah. By the time we get to the Super Bowl, you're going to start seeing the risk much closer to 50-50. And it's not going to matter which team wins or which total, whether it goes over, whether it goes under, as long as books don't get middled, meaning where the game opens -2.5, closes -3.5, and it lands in the middle. Unless that happens, they're not losing money on a Super Bowl. I've been here now for 30-plus Super Bowls, and it's just a matter of how much money they're going to make. If it goes, favored and under, they make this. If it goes favored and over, they make this. If it goes dog and under, they make this. If it makes dog and over, to make that. Because bettors are willing to take such the worst of it. Remember, they're willing to lay -110, -115 on a coin flip. We all know it's 50-50. We all know the true odds on that should be even money. We put up $1, we should win $1. And yet, reasonable, smart, intelligent, educated people will be betting 11 to win 10 on that coin flip come Super Bowl Sunday. It's gambling. People approach it that way, and the Super Bowl is different than any other game, any other bet you could possibly make all year. The people that are betting it, the saturation of recreational money is immeasurable compared to anything sharp. Like anything sharp doesn't even factor in when you're talking sides and totals. Prop, different story. But sides and totals, they don't give a shit what the sharps are doing. They could care less.
Anything college basketball, NBA that you're seeing today?
Yeah, let me look at the Steam sheet. I know there was 5 sides, 5 totals, and 5 NBA, 5 college basketball, 5 NHL. We moved on 5 or 6. I'll give a couple from each one. NBA, Cleveland -4.5. Philadelphia kept getting steam, +4, +3.5, +3, and they also took Golden State +8. In college basketball, they took Arizona -1 and the under 166. Arizona BYU. Added game, Central Connecticut -2.5 and 3. Then in the NHL, they went LA +105, Rangers +105, and why not Utah +150. So there's action. It's Monday, and it's a little hangover from Championship Sunday, but we are in action, brother. And more importantly, 2 weeks to the Super Bowl, and we already got a 5% in there. So let's go. Time for props.
Let's talk a little bit of UFC. I hit my 5%, lost all the small ones. and I was lucky to hit the 5%. I had Natalia Silva involved.
Good for you.
But not really. That fight did not go according to plan. She should have lost. And then on the flip side, you had the Song Yadong, Sean O'Malley, where I didn't think Sean O'Malley had any business winning. My takeaway was, I don't know, the narrative of what does UFC want to happen might become a part of my handicapping. Like it just felt like whoever UFC really wanted and needed to win ended up winning. I don't know if there's anything to that. You handicap it completely different me. You look at the line movement and all that. But I gotta be honest, I'm terrified of main cards after seeing that main card. I'm not like, where's the value in that main card unless you're beating the lines like you do? If I'm just handicapping who should beat who, I'm going to be sticking to the prelims and the undercard moving forward. What do you think?
You nailed it, bro. That's why you win long term, Andy, because you're not trying to satisfy the fans like need, meaning you're actually trying to make money doing this. You're looking for where is the inefficient market, and that's where I've become a fan of you. It isn't about it's Monday Night Football. They want to bet the side or the total, so that's what I'm going to sell them. Instead, you're like, it's Monday Night Football. I think there's a prop on the kicker that's off. That's what I'm betting. And I love that style, bro. I absolutely love it. And that's why I love a site like WagerTalk that has so many cappers that you can specialize and you find value in guys that are specialists like that. And I love it. And I think someone like you should do exactly that, because you're going to annihilate the undercard without having to worry about the nonsense of politics that's involved in all sports. We know that. And it's not even corruption. I think it's more like incompetence coupled with pressure. You don't think they know going in like what the need is of the Nevada State Athletic Commission? Like when Mayweather was fighting, you don't think the judges knew going in that it would be a good thing for the Nevada State Athletic Commission, for the state, for everyone involved if Mayweather got the W and we were able to do this again 6 months from now, and then again 6 months from now, and then again 6 months from now, for the state, for businesses, for everyone? Like knowing these things actually matter as a handicapper sucks, because it's hard enough to factor in data that has to do with the teams. But then to deal with politics and judges and shit like that makes it very difficult. So I think minimizing it to the undercard where you don't have the politics involved as much, I think is a really, really, really smart idea, because nothing worse than that. Like you said, you do everything right, and yet for reasons, we unspecified, you lose a bet and it sucks. So I don't fault you for doing that. And I think your results are going to do really good long-term doing that. Now, I got it wrong with Patty, and that was me. It wasn't my originator or anything. I was confident that the line was going to move because Gagey, 37 years old, Gagey talking retirement. I thought I was going to get more closing line value than I did. It got to minus 250, 255 at one point, but it closed about minus 245, and I got down at minus 220. Again, 3% on implied win probability. You do that long term, you're going to, print money. But again, for a 5%, I expected a lot more. So I failed my subscribers with that. But I was confident. I did good with that card, meaning I read it good. I saw the dogs that were live, and I feel good about this week's card. Have you looked at it yet, Andy? I like this one more than actually.
I am 100%. Yeah, I'm 100%. I like this card more after doing all that. I think there's some obvious dog spots and then some very obvious favorite spots. So yeah, I'm with you. And listen, we get to fade a junior top.
And if that's a big play for you, you don't have to say anything.
What's that?
I have a UFC meeting today. That's why we're talking about that card. We're taping on Friday. I had both the first time. I lean that way the second time. I haven't bet it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have a strong opinion on that fight. So I my sneaky call is that Dan Hooker makes this Saint Denis fight really messy, and I think everyone's going to be on Saint Denis and Dan Hooker in Australia, just the brawler that he is.
I like it.
A little wonky. So, but yeah, there's some pretty good fade spots, but I'll be treading lightly on the main cards moving forward. Sure. For you to not get any takedown pressure from Patty Pimblett is mind-blowing. I think somebody already...
Dude, that like I said, that's what sucks. You can't call the fights. You can't judge the fights. You can't be in the corner to tell them what to do. But my whole analysis was off because I thought his advantage was in the grappling, and he didn't grapple at all. Like, again, what can you do? Just a bad fight IQ.
Just struck with a striker, just the kiss of death. Unbelievable. And now his face is it's not permanently damaged, but the amount of damage he took to his face, that tissue
shortens your career. Yep.
It does. It was a massive loss. So, all right. Well, we already know you got a 5% best bet up for Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
Give up on Monday.
UFC the Super Bowl package is up. There's a 5% in there. I'll be adding player props as I confirm it, and I'm pretty sure when that Super Bowl kicks off, I will have a premium, obviously on the side and the total. I think we'll have both side and total with a handful of player props. The Steam sheet's up. It's got NBA, college basketball, and NHL. And that'll also include throughout the week the player props that didn't make the premium card. Like yesterday's Steam sheet had like 7, 8 player props, 10 player props. I think they ended up doing really well. So Steam sheet's up. Super Bowl pass is up. I should have the UFC pass up because the 4% was already released from my originator. And I like this card as well. So big 2 weeks as we wait for Super Bowl Sunday. But don't wait too long because, again, we already got down on the side. So, again, best of luck to everyone this week. And I hope you do some damage as well, Andy.
Thank you very much, Gianni. Absolutely. Can't wait. Gianni the Greek, one of the best in the business. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Real quick, early action in the NBA, mainly 76ers Hornets. I do have a couple free plays, actually. I can give those out. Pascal Siakam, this game is like an hour. You got to lay juice, but they keep putting out 3.5 assists on Pascal Siakam. He's averaging like 9 potential assists. And games at 1:30 Eastern, so you got about an hour. That's just if you want juice. 76ers Hornets. Andre Drummond over 9.5 rebounds. Here's my write-up for that one. With Embiid and Paul George out, Drummond has gone for 11 plus rebounds in 8 of his last 9 games. In those spots, he's averaging 27 minutes, 18 rebound chances per game. Here's the issue, though. Of all teams, you would never guess this. Charlotte ranks number 1 in rebounds to centers. The Charlotte Hornets, who don't really have that much size, their guards crash and their forwards crash, and centers don't get a ton of rebounds. But Drummond already played them earlier this season. He had 13 rebounds against them. It missed the client card, but it's a lean. It's something you can look at. But the Andre Drummond, I thought the number should have been 10.5. You can get it at 9.5. Again, Embiid, Paul George are out. So, yeah.
Love it. Well, we're all about the assist today. I like that you threw a little rebound in there, but we're all about the assist on the ice, on the hardwood. But yeah, that game going early, so that's a little bit for the live viewers. I know Bill Krackomberger, he's going to have a prop coming up here. Before we bring him in, Andy, that 7-day special, it's expiring soon. What do you got locked and loaded? I know you said you won the 5%er still. Kind of a kiss your sister weekend, but people love it when you win the big plays. So how are we doing as we move forward into this week, and what are you going to be locked and loaded before we talk to Bill here in a second?
That is, I never know how to feel about it when you have a losing record in a package, but you hit the 5%.
People love the big plays, but for the way that you and I do it, you know what I mean? It's like we want the volume to hit. You know what I mean? Like having the big play hit because we know people probably bet them a little bit heavier than they should. You can at least feel good that you got the 5%er home. But you and I are kicking ourselves if we don't have the above 52%. We could care less about the weekend. It's a frustrating weekend for us. But you did hit the big one, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who are happy about that one.
Yeah. Full disclosure, Saturday was not good. That was a big losing day for us. For all access clients, you guys broke even on Sunday. But today, 4% NBA best bet is up. Don't get that. Get the 7 days for 3 days. That's still up, and you can. There's a lot of specials on the specials page. But we're having a good 2026. Absolutely loving where we're at. We learned a lot from that UFC card. I'm going to be very low volume in UFC moving forward. But we hit a couple NBA plays up yesterday. That's 8-3 run. That's a sport that we're just seeing really, really well right now. And 4% best bet, that's up. And I think I may have another play for tonight that will be attached to it as well. So you'll probably get a couple best bets for this Monday. But again, don't get one play. Just get 7 days for the price of 3. That way you can see what we can do over the course of a week. So All right, let's bring in Bill Krackomberger. There he is.
How we doing,
guys,
brother?
Good. How we doing? Okay.
I'm not bad. Like Andy said, it was kind of just one of those weekends where, you win some, you lose some. So I'll tell you what, I'm glad that we only have one more NFL game left, and I only have to watch the Patriots play one more time. My heart can't do it anymore. The Philly guy in me, it's hard for me to see them continually win in the fashion they do. So, you always come on pissed off on a Monday morning. That's what I'm pissed about, man. Second half, they didn't even have to throw a damn pass, Bill. Come on, brother.
It's amazing how I said it the other day on VSiN. I said, I wake up every morning. It's supposed to be sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. For some reason, I wake up mad at somebody. It's just the industry. Now, I come on here Mondays. It's the beginning of the week, and I've had so many winning weeks, and it doesn't matter. I still come on a little bit grumpy. It's not grumpy. It's just the state of the industry, the state of social media, the state of the BS and different things, and I just see things like perfect example. I woke up this morning pissed off about me not sweeping the board with my props this week because of the stupid, like the weather. Like I should be happy. I only lost one prop, but I should be happy. But I still woke up saying, Jesus, this did about 120 yards in the first half. I needed let's say 80, 80 yards in the second half, and they're going to be behind, maybe throwing the ball, and then the weather just started getting worse and worse. The beginning of the third quarter, midway third, they were running up until the end of the game, and listen, I can't complain. I had a good prop weekend. Sometimes these things happen. We had great games, though. We had really good games. Speaking of pissed off, I think New York's pissed off for some reason. These morons that control the Empire State Building decided to put up the colors of the Patriots on the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, that's
tough. Don't they know that they're in this? The Jets are in the same. People don't like the Patriots. Maybe it's patriotic to put up the colors, but they put up
the whole Empire State flashing the colors thing. It's become like a troll thing that they do on social media, because last year they had to put up colors for the Eagles too, so they do it every year. But when it's New England and New York hasn't had much to be excited about, I'm sure Bill. That's probably what some New Yorkers were pissed off about this morning, was they're looking up and they're like, dude, what the hell? My Rangers, they can't get a win. All my teams suck. We can't get a head coach for the Jets. All these issues, Bill. But man, before we talk NFL or NBA player prop, got to get your thoughts, man. The line opens last night: Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, and to be expected. You see that money start coming in on Seattle. There were some threes out there. Even those disappeared rather quickly. Just early takeaway thoughts for you on the opening line here. We got two weeks for people to handicap how they're betting the side, how they're betting the total. But it's props come Super Bowl time.
Yeah.
But what do you think about as far as the opening line here? Seattle and Patriots, we got it set.
Yeah, I actually seen it come up 3.5 and then quickly got bet to 4. Stayed at 4 for a while, went to 4.5. That's where it's settled right now. A couple fives out there in some of the books that matter, actually. So, but I give out on WagerTalk. I actually give out the NFC a month ago minus $1.45. You can see the value you have there now. Obviously, people that follow me and people that got my picks. So, but I will tell you, I have a friend that's very, very. He's very good at what he does, and I'm not even going to show you the bet. But why do that? There's no reason to do that. But he made a very large bet, the largest bet. He bet 6 figures almost every year on the Super Bowl, and he bought it to 6. I can't believe he found this line +6 -20. He bought it to 6. So. Of course, I wish I can get that now. It's a hell of a. Not that I'm looking in the middle of my 145. I like my position at -145. But he bet +6 on the game last night, and he bought it to 6. They took a very large bet. Some of these sports books, they will take a big bet earlier because you would think, oh, they'll take a large bet day of the game. Yeah, they would. Yeah, most books would take a 6-figure bet. But the 7-figure bets, I think there was 9 7-figure bets last season that were documented by the different sports books around town that took $1 million or more. And you could take it with a week to go or a few days to go, because you can work with that line. You can get customers on the other side and generate juice for your book. It's always a fun time. It really is. Everyone bets the Super Bowl. Literally, everyone from office workers, housewives, everyone has those box pools. You know, back where I'm from, but the box pools are sick. Even my little brother called me up the other day. He said, "Hey, can you get me in $100 box pool?" I said, "We don't have box pools in Vegas, buddy. Like we don't have that, because we're used to, like, Staten Island, New York is the king of box pools. Anyone out there that knows about these pools or from Staten Island, you know what goes on over there. They have the biggest pools in the world. They have boxes. They have $10,000 boxes, literally.
Oh,
Staten Island got a lot of money. They have
That's crazy.
$1 million in a box. So, and it's funny. The bars run them. Everyone knows. The police know. The FBI know. Everyone. Technically, as long as you're not taking nothing out of the pool for yourself as a house, technically you're just having a pool amongst your buddies. But it's funny when you get paid. Uh, let's say you win $100,000. The
mhm.
guy comes over and brings you the money. He gives you 90. Thanks for the 10,000 tip. No, they take their tip. They take their tip out in advance. It's actually cool, but it's a great place to have that kind of. There's pools, all different sizes, all the bars, different bars in Staten Island. But everyone bets the Super Bowl. It's a thing that's almost like a rite of passage. Any of the I should say any of the cities, but it's anywhere over the United States. I was using like the inner cities and like where I grew up. Even though we were poor, we had money to bet box pools when I was a kid. It is what it is. But Seattle, LA, great game. Came down to the wire there, and there's a little bit of an overreaction because of what happened yesterday. So you see the terrible weather game. You seen the Patriots squeak by the Broncos, but you see the terrible weather game. So you really didn't see a true outcome of what would happen in that second half with under normal conditions. And
Yep.
you see a little bit of overreaction. What do I say by that is,
Fair.
what I mean by that, the line of the game, you could have bet right before those two games yesterday, you could have bet any matchup I was at Westgate. You could bet any matchup. This particular outcome, the matchup, the line was Seattle -3.5 over the Patriots. You could have bet that right before the games. Now, just because of the way Seattle won, and maybe the week now, I can't even tell the week before, because that would have been reflected in that 3.5. People just said, "Oh God, this other game, New England just barely won. I got to bet Seattle for the Super Bowl." It's a little bit of an overreaction. So the value might be on that +5. And by the way, 5 is not a dead number. I know people say, "Oh, 5 games don't land 5." You'd be surprised. I have a chart. For Las Vegas, Chris gave me a chart years ago of like all 10 numbers, what they what all they like 1 to 10, pick them through 10, so I guess 11 numbers. It literally have, I'm trying to think what it went up to. You know what, I'm wrong. I think it went up to 14. So 14 numbers. It went up to 14, and just see what the games land on. You'd be surprised. 5 was in the middle of the pack. It wasn't down low. So 5 was right there with 4. Like, what games land on 4. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is 5's not a dead number. There's an overreaction here because of what you've seen yesterday. That's reflective in the line today. Even though I have the NFC, and I'm staying with my position, of course, guys. Anyone that bought my packages, you see, you have the 145. Don't get
Mhm.
off it. Don't middle it. Unless you have a lot of money on it. If you have a lot of money on it, I have no problem if someone has, $1,000 on that, coming back with, $500 the other way, or $400 the other way, $300 the other way. Just make sure you shop around. There's 5s out there. So, but I'm sticking with my position. Should be a great game again. Let me just tell you, I'm gonna have a package. I haven't even told no one at WagerTalk yet. They don't even know. So this is the first time. I'm gonna have a package up by the end of the week, a prop package of NFL props that I feel really confident in. Already, I'm looking at least 6 that I have that I just want to get into to be real blunt, I just want to get into Westgate. They moved it up, thank God. They moved it up to Wednesday because Westgate takes a lot of money. I mean, I bet a ridiculous amount of money over at Westgate last year on the player props. I was online. They have a lottery, so you're online, and you have to. Everyone goes to the counter. You get $2,000 each.
Yep.
You get two. You're only allowed to make 2 plays. You have to go to the back of the line. So last year I went there. And I was online and went back and forth, back and forth. I had 11 plays written down. I only got 10 of them, and someone else got the other one. I got 10 of them. I ran really lucky there. Went 9-1. Should have went 10-1 if I got my other one in, but I didn't. But I went up and bet some of the same ones over and over again. So I'll have, once Westgate releases, a lot of other sports books look at their lines too. I want to make sure they have an obtainable line for everyone out there. I want to make sure you guys get an obtainable line. I'm not one to put out a line like today. Someone put out a line. Someone sent a prop out today. There's such a small market. Vegas, there's not a casino, there's not a sports book in Vegas that has props up, but yet the service wants to pad their record and make it look like, you know, they're giving out an obtainable line. They can't even make a bet on the prop in Vegas. So a player prop. But however, I don't do that. I don't say, you could bet this at Hard Rock, Florida. Good luck. I don't. That's not what I do. Not what I do. So but anyway, should be a fun time. A lot of props, a lot of fun things. You know, a lot of things for Wager Talk I can release that they don't even have the props here. So I'm hoping I get one of them this year. You know, I've had some over the years. I've had some great information on the first. I'll just be blunt. The reason why I had that Coldplay singing Yellow, the reason why I had that, I knew someone in the stadium that's been there, like watching the warm-ups. I'm watching him warm up the song Yellow, and it was like +6-1, +3-1, +2-1. I bet it. That was a giant score for me. Giant score to all my followers too. I gave that out to the followers. So I'm hoping we get something like that. Maybe we get the Gatorade truck on the way in, shake that guy down, do something. Yeah. No, you got to get good information on this kind of stuff. You can't just the national anthem is pretty simple. Just watch. I think I told you guys. I don't even know who's singing the national anthem. How about that? But the national anthem, just see when just look on YouTube when they sung it before. Just see the time.
No, we've had Andy on here handicapping cleavage will be shown props. So you're going to get plenty of thoughts. Yeah, you know we're going to get
that one.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great research that he did. He was like, I watched performances. I saw what her outfits are. So it was well done by Andy. So you know we're going to run the gamut on the props we'll cover here. And next week when we got Crack on here, we're going to talk plenty of props here. But Crack, what do you got?
Speaking of which, though, I mean, are there people out there that follow these idiot broads bouncing their breast and giving out picks? Are there real people do people really bet that stuff, or is it just entertainment?
I mean, they get engagement.
I want to hear it. No, I'm not. I want to hear it from you guys. Do you actually bet it or bet their stuff and they lie and they put? There's a couple of them, man. I tell you what, they're so fugazi. It's unbelievable. But
we know that well, Crack. Hey, before we turn you loose, man, like I said, we're going to talk plenty of props with you next week. Folks can get the proc pack that he's going to have coming up here. Check him out, wt.buzz/Crackman. Obviously, Westgate's going to be doing their stuff on Wednesday, actually, to get you ready for Super Bowl week. So, Bill, before we turn you loose, you got anything for the folks in NBA or any player prop you can throw out here?
Let's give him an NBA prop. I just want to see.
What do we got?
I'm at MGM. We're looking at MGM. I don't want to give out obtainable NBA prop. It's the Memphis Grizzlies game. Jaren Jackson rebounds over 4.5. Yep, 4.5 minus 135 still. He had 6 rebounds on 18 chances the first matchup versus the Rockets. The last 12 games without Edie and Alden. I really think this is a good one. Even you can go. I'm going by one sports book. There's another one over 5.5 plus 115. I would go over either number. That's probably. The value probably just a little bit better. It's 50-cent difference in juice there. Maybe taking the over 5.5 plus 115, but over 4.5 minus 135 is what I bet. So there's a prop for you guys, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for putting up with me.
Oh, always, Bill. Appreciate it. You can follow him at Bill Crackman. A fantastic follow there on X, Twitter. I also like this breakdown here, Andy. Good breakdown from our fan, RJ, that he's always in here in the chat. His handicap is the country singers maybe rush through it a little bit more, stay classic. But the R&B singers tend to linger a little bit more. Remember when there was the big controversy when they did the Home of the Brave and repeated the Home of the Brave?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where there was some
Very
stylistic changes there. So always look forward to the handicaps on the national anthem, which, Andy, you and I probably will do a whole segment on just obscure props for the folks here, because it's some of the fun stuff that you and I love each and every year.
Well, we will, but listen, the national anthem thing, like, it's kind of jumped the shark, and you really can't.
Yeah, it's no longer obscure. I'm talking about will booty be shown? That's what we handicap. What color dress is Bad Bunny going to be wearing? That's the kind of stuff that Andy and I will get into.
Yes. Yeah. I want to bet on the color of the mic screen.
Yes, that's what Andy and
I
I will be breaking down here. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, let's bring on Steve Merril, and we got to break down some games. Steve, what was your take on the games yesterday? Can I just share this with you guys? Here's my hot take. I don't like snow games.
Safe space.
I don't
Yeah,
I don't find them entertaining.
The snow game is overrated, Steve.
Well, how is the first game supposed to tell you anything about those teams, and then you get the Rams and the Seahawks, they play in perfect conditions, and what do you get? A very entertaining, awesome game. I don't like them. I don't think that's a good indicator.
I'm with you.
My God, the entire season came down to Jared Stidham throwing the ball in a blizzard. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I do think it's cool to watch, though. I mean, it's different. It's entertaining. But I will say what I did not like was what I liked it when it first popped on. I thought it was one of the coolest things I've seen. And about 5 seconds later, I didn't like it anymore. It was the AI generated 30-yard lines.
Dude, it looked awful.
Well, it was cool, though, Dan, when it popped on, because it was like, whoo, it lit up. And then it took me a second to realize it wasn't the real numbers, because you could see them underneath smaller. Exactly. But then when all the players became engulfed and Casper the Ghost pixelated every time they crossed over a yard line, it looked a little silly. I was like, the network's got to get these off. I mean, the players are literally disappearing. I will say this, though. I always talk about how snow doesn't affect scoring, rain and snow. It's wind and fog. That definitely got to a point where it was hurting scoring a little bit in the second half. Not that was going to be a high-scoring game anyway, but had it been like that from the start, would have really been interesting. Don't forget, that could have been the 6:30 Eastern game, which means it would have been throughout the game. And let's also forget, if the Raiders, the worst team in football, don't beat the Patriots back in week 1, that game is in New England yesterday in a blizzard. So a lot of interesting circumstances how that could have played out.
Yeah, Steve, let's talk college basketball here. We got a nice little Louisville versus Duke, Arizona, BYU combo here. This is the ESPN doubleheader tonight. So we'll start with this Louisville versus Duke game. Duke coming in pretty decent sized favorite here over Louisville. You're looking at the spread, you're looking at the total in this game.
Well, there's been a little bit of movement on both here. Duke opened as a 7.5-point favorite, now up to 8.5. We've also seen a little bit of money on the over, 156 up to 157, even 157.5 starting to show at some of the sharper books. Should be a back and forth game. Louisville is one of the faster teams in the country. Duke plays at a very modest tempo, and Louisville actually rates as the better offensive team in this game, which might surprise a lot of people. Louisville's a top 10 offensive adjusted efficiency team this season, and they're a top 25 defense, but Duke is almost a top 10 defense. So I actually think Louisville, the slightly better offense, Duke, the better defense. The best player in the country, though, is on the floor here. And if you haven't watched him yet, freshman Cameron Boozer, yes, son of Carlos Boozer, one of the twins, as we've got the other freshman, Caden Boozer, who's the 6'4" guard versus 6'9" Cameron Boozer, who's going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, I would think, as Cooper flagged last year. Now Cameron. Duke remains loaded, but I think Louisville can hang in this game. Yes, they're just 4-3 straight up in conference play, but this line looks inflated. I project about a 5 to 6 point line here. The move from 7.5 up to 8.5, I think, actually has left some line value with Louisville. And as I mentioned, Duke the better defensive team, but Louisville the better offensive team. And the other matchup I'll point out is that Duke gives up a lot of shots from 3-point range. They're a very strong interior defense. Their perimeter defense is where the weakness is, and no team in the country takes more 3-point shots than Louisville. There are 365 teams in Division I basketball, and Louisville takes more shots from 3 than anyone. 54% of their field goal attempts, more than half, come from beyond the arc. It's always a little dicey on the road, especially in Cameron, how they will shoot. But it's actually a favorable matchup. So if they can hit those 3-point shots tonight, I think Louisville can hang. That's a big if, but there is some value here at plus 8.5 with Louisville. That's your 7 o'clock Eastern game on ESPN.
I would think that why hasn't like a really small school said like we're only shooting threes? Like we're
seen
like
it
75%. Yeah,
Well,
Louisville doesn't strike me as a school that would be number one shooting threes.
Shooting over half your shots from 3-point range. When you watch a game like that, it's pretty.
It
extreme.
feels like it's every time.
And I'll give you a firsthand example. You know, Brian Earl came to William & Mary last year and really turned the program around. William & Mary was third in the nation last year out of 365. They took almost 50% of their shots from three last year. This year they're like in the 44% range, which is like 80th, and their defense has gotten a lot better. So there's a balance like anything. You live by the three, you die by the three. The problem with that approach is, yes, you can catch lightning in a bottle, but these mid-major schools that you're talking about have to win their conference tournaments, which means you have to win at a minimum 3 or 4 straight games in a row. And it's really hard to be on for 3 or 4 straight. Yet it's kind of like the option offense in football, right? When you're a smaller, slower team in football, you got to do something different. So that's why we do see the upsets in March Madness, is that, you know, if someone's red hot from three, they can beat anybody on a given day. It's just very hard to win 3 or 4 games in a row, win a conference tournament, or let alone the NCAA tournament.
Moving on to Arizona and BYU. Looks like Arizona is going to be the ever so slight favorite here. Basically a pick 'em over under 164.5. How do you break this one down?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that last game was a top 25 matchup, and this one is also a top 25 matchup. I think BYU's coming in like 13th right now. Arizona, though, is the number 1 team in the AP poll. And don't forget, if you're liking top 25 videos, I'm doing my Saturday top 25 college basketball every Saturday going forward now that football is done, and that'll be here on WagerTalk TV. So click subscribe and click that bell so you never miss out. But a little 2-for-1 top 25 video action here on Monday on ESPN, and this is the late game at 9 o'clock Eastern. And on the surface, hard not to take a look at BYU as a live home dog here, 17-2 on the season, and they're catching points on a strong home court with altitude. Now, normally I think Arizona is probably 3 to 4 points better, but this is an extreme home advantage. Not only is it a undefeated home team here, but also a situation in which they have the altitude edge, as I mentioned, and that's something that always catches my attention when you're playing a desert team or a West Coast team. So I do like BYU in this game to possibly pull the upset. And I also don't feel like Arizona is truly the number 1 team in the country. They're getting all 61 first-place votes as of now because they're 20-0 straight up. But I do think this could be their first loss of the season. I still rate Michigan as the most dominant team in college basketball. I've got Arizona maybe 3rd or 4th. They're a number 1 seed still. But if you're looking for a spot for them to finally fall, this is a very likely situation. In fact, if you look over the schedule here, the only time they're probably not going to be favored in a game is later on February 21st. On Saturday, February 21st, when they go to Houston. That, of course, will be in my top 25 video next month on that Saturday. And I think this is the other likely spot where they could drop a game. We just saw some sharp money about 15 minutes ago coming on the total in this one. By the way, the line opened around 2. It's down to 1.5. Not much movement on the side, but we've seen some heavy money on the over in this game. Opened 162.5, was 165 right before I came on to do the show, and now it's 166. A little bit of a sharp money move there, and it makes a lot of sense. Both teams play extremely fast. Arizona is always one of the fastest teams in the country. They are once again this year. BYU not too far behind. They both rank top 20 percentile in possessions and tempo. Yes, Arizona is a good defensive team, but both of these teams are really good offensively as well. And BYU is a weaker defensive team. That's the one weakness here. So the over is a little bit of a hedge. If BYU does struggle, it's probably because Arizona is going to score in this game. So I like BYU plus 1.5. And I agree with that sharp money move to the over. I think you could hedge it a little bit with the over 166 as well. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN.
Steve, thoughts on the Super Bowl? Who do you like?
Well, as Crack said, you know, the look-ahead line was 3.5 all week at different books, and then it instantly was 4.5 yesterday. It even hit 5 when some openers came out last night right after the game. And I did think that was a little strange because both games were close. I didn't feel like either team looked good or bad in either game. So I guess it was just a reaction to the Patriots not covering and Seattle covering. By the way, we had the Rams. I had both Denver and the under in my free play video, but then we were on the other side of it, Rams and under in the late game. So video split out when going 2-2. But not just because I liked the Rams plus 2.5. I really thought they should have kicked the field goal because it was more than 4th and 1. I think it was like 4th and 3 when they went for it, and it would have been a 1-point game. They definitely cover at that point because even if they don't go down and score, Seattle's going to run out the clock either way. But I just felt like 4th and 3, you give yourself a chance to get the ball back still and kick the field goal. So that was a tough one there. And even though Seattle covered, it really could have gone either way. Also, I did feel like whoever won that game would probably be the Super Bowl champ. I said that. I'm a little lukewarm now, though. New England is a solid team. You know, a lot of knocks on the schedule they played this year. But then again, you look at who they played in the playoffs. They played a banged-up Chargers team, Texans, and then the Broncos with a backup quarterback. Yet they looked impressive in most of those games. So it should be a good game. Let's hope it's a good game. The one thing that has not moved, guys, is the total. It opened 46.5, and it held pretty much steady. Has not hit that key number of 47. We'll see which way the public comes later next week. But 47, 48 are key numbers. 46, 46.5 are what we call dead numbers.
I mean, I'm just waiting for like Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba to get suspended. It's like something's going to happen for New England. Just like
Darnold, you saw he was wearing a heating pad on those obliques. So I mean, he's battled through. He looked pretty decent last night. So, but with how the luck has gone for New England, Andy, nothing would surprise me. We have 2 weeks to get to that point. So I guess time will tell.
It turns out the font on their jersey isn't regulation. So they're not
so
allowed to play.
They then are spotting. They're automatically 3-point. Patriots are awarded 3 points. Steve,
I got to ask you guys a couple things. First of all, before I forget, what's his name? 27 for the Seahawks. I mean, I was rooting for the Rams, so I was happy to see it.
Walton or the quarterback,
Stalling, whatever his name is. That was one of the. I mean, it wasn't really a terrible taunt, but it was so stupid. And then to get beat, going right at him on the next
and then he
play
gets dusted.
I know, but it was so brilliant to do that. It was so brilliant. But I couldn't help but be fixated by this, especially as a coach. He shakes McVay's hand right as the clock hits 0. He's over there going, da, 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 da. And then he went up and it was one of the key players. It wasn't Stafford, but it was another one of their stars. Oh, it was Puka. He went up to Puka, was hugging him or whatever, shaking his hand. I'm just like, this dude, man, you talk bipolar. It's like he was all over the place. And I wonder if would he been like that had those incidents not happened? I severely doubt it.
It's a good point.
I don't know the dude. I'm going to look into him, but I already dislike him. I just couldn't.
Reek Woolen. Tariq Woolen was the guy who unfortunately got up barking and then gets dusted on the next.
I really thought that was going to turn the game around. He was going to go down as one of the biggest goats. See, when I grew up, the term goat was a terrible term, and I still don't really like goat.
It's flipped.
But see, that's where I went. It was like the biggest goat ever, not as he was the greatest ever. But real quick, Andy, you're a props guy. You love the intricacies like me. They were saying that the Patriots were at a disadvantage with the all-white uniforms. And on TV, it obviously looked that way. I wonder what it was really like on the field. But, yeah, I mean, the orange jerseys versus the white with the snow. Next time, maybe you wear blue pants, right? That probably was an option with the New England uniform.
Well, there wasn't even supposed to be snow. That was the thing, Steve, is like a lot of people were like.
I said on the last call yesterday, second half, there might be some flurries. I didn't think it'd be like
maybe.
That.
But the leading up to it, it wasn't like how it was on the East Coast where like you knew you were going to get banged. You knew snow was coming.
It was like 0.1 inch is what I saw.
Exactly. But in true Patriots fashion, they get the blizzard.
They weathered the storm. Pun intended, boys.
Yes. Well done, Steve. Well done.
Never forget, Steve, that you can't make a good play and then turn to the sidelines and say, I got you. But you can make an interception and rally the entire team to run 80 yards
to run to the
other end of the field.
Yeah, in his defense, I thought that was a shaky. I mean, he mouthed to a couple guys. He had his distance. I just don't like that behavior. I think it just looks kind of punkish.
I get that.
But I did think that was a little bit of an overreaction because I thought it was literally going to change the NFC Championship outcome. And in that case, I didn't really agree with the call. But so I guess in that regard, it's a good thing that Seattle won. But kids at home,
Steve,
don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's a good teaching moment. Definitely just don't bark at the sideline. Let the play do the talk. Steve, what do you got rocking? I know you've been seeing it really great on the hardwood, specifically in NBA. But when folks head on over to your page, what are they going to find?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time to go over there right now because I got 2 NBA best bets, one late afternoon and one nighttime. So 2 NBA plays for Monday. And I point that out because long-term, nobody's won more at WagerTalk in the history of WagerTalk in the NBA. In fact, we have a special offer right now. You can get the 2 plays today, but we also have an instant $100 discount, a 25% discount on the rest of the NBA season. No promo code needed. So if you want to make some money, we're talking Super Bowl. There's one game left in football. College and pro hoops on a daily basis is the way to go. Hitting over 60% of the NBA the last 2 months, number one all time. And now you can get the lowest price of the season plus 2 best bets for Monday. Oh, and a bonus free play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And hey, get there quicker. WT.buzz/SM.
Awesome stuff, Steve Merril. Thank you very much for joining
Thanks,
us.
Steve.
Good luck.
Thanks, boys.
Stay warm. Let's see. What were some other ones? So the NFL play I lost was Kyron over his rushing, and Blake Corum getting him all the carries was annoying enough, but I still thought we were on track to win. And why isn't the big talk the muffed punt? And if
you just look at the McVay coaching tree too, it's funny because you see guys like LaFleur, you see guys like Shanahan. If you look at those teams, they are all bottom of the league in special teams. So something great about these guys is they're super innovative of what they do offensively, the way that they're able to scheme guys open, the fact that they're able to have a guy like Puka Nacua who's running with 10, 15 yards just schematically, it's incredible. But ignoring special teams is, I would argue, why none of those guys have, outside of McVay, have that big win on their resume. Because special teams come playoff time can be the ultimate equalizer. For all the flack that I give the Patriots, that's something that Mike Vrabel really harps on, is good special teams play. The muff punt, I feel like, is just getting completely glossed over. That was what changed the game.
You can't handicap that and put it in there, but I'm sitting there with the Kyron prop. I think I needed like 20 yards. I was like, oh, he's getting the carries. The series, it's a 1-score game. Rams are running the ball, and then it goes from that to, the Seahawks just get an easy score, and now Kyron's never going to get carries again. So it was just, I'm with you. This was one of these things where, yeah, it's coaching, and I guess the coaching is putting him out there because it was like.
But it was also just horrible. But he's your punt returner. You know what I mean? Like, he does it all week long. He does it all season long. So it was super head scratching to me. I mean, what he was thinking with fielding that ball, it wasn't even like there was weather or wind really whipping there. So yeah, it was just a ill-advised play that I'm with you. Like, I feel like that should have been a leading point that people were talking about. Andy, we still got all around the world before we shut things down here because we have gone long, but I wanted to circle back because I misspeak a lot on this show, but I did not misspeak when I was saying Bad Bunny likely is going to be wearing a dress. And we got a comment from BAB, as I affectionately call him, Broadcast Boogie. He goes, Bad Bunny's a guy. What do you mean, what color dress? Well, you may see here, that's the game graphic. You may see a guy like Bad Bunny sporting some dress wear. He's talked about it. I think, Andy, you said there's a notable book that is offering the yes on Bad Bunny to be wearing a dress. It's rather likely, Andy.
Yeah, he said he's going to do it. So, I mean.
So what color is the question there? But yeah, see, this is the kind of research that Andy and I will have for you on the prop front. Don't worry, folks. We will have your prop cup runneth over by Super Bowl time. You want rushing props? You want passing props? Yes, it will be covered here, but we'll also cover the things that you say, wait, you can bet on that? Yes, we will cover it.
Yeah, they're coming up. They're coming up. You got a couple weeks of all these.
Yeah, dare we say, Andy, we will go all around the world with all of the props that we will cover.
Absolutely. Let's do some bets for today. We got then we got a UFC look ahead. We'll go to Jaden McDaniels over 13.5 points, coming off a brutal shooting night, 1 of 8 from the field. But previous to that, he had scored 15 points in 5 straight games. He's averaging 11.5 shot attempts, 6 made field goals, and Golden State is really thin up front. Jimmy Butler is obviously out. Jonathan Kuminga is out. Al Horford played last night. He's not going to play today. So expect the forwards of the Wolves to be good. I'm doing a look ahead here at Fiziev, and I have not been a Fiziev guy. I made pretty good money betting against him when he fought Gagey, but I think he gets Ruffy in this one. So it wouldn't surprise me if more money came in on Fiziev here, but Ruffy showed his complete lack of takedown defense. He could get back up against St. Denis, but didn't have a ground game. And Fiziev can wrestle, and Fiziev much better strength of schedule. He's fought Justin Gaethje twice. I think he just got done beating Bahamondes. Ruffy knocked out an old King Green. Before that, knocked out a bum, and then just really got dog washed against Saint Denis. So Fiziev, as much as I'm not that impressed with him, I think he's got the tools to beat Mauricio Ruffy in this one. And then TGL tonight, the Golf League, Boston Common over Bay Golf Club. This should be available on all your books. We hit a bet on them. I bet in this league last week. Rory McIlroy's playing tonight for Boston because, Dan, when you think Boston, you think Rory McIlroy. But and also Thorbjorn Olesen is playing. Nothing says Boston like the Rory McIlroy Thorbjorn Olesen combo. But in the golf simulation, if you don't know what TGL is, it's golf simulation. It's awesome. But Rory McIlroy's length gives them an advantage. That length alone should win them a couple holes. And their opponent, Wyndham Clark, is vulnerable. Shane Lowry's good on the green, but he's a liability off the tee. And this line has moved. This was minus 125. It's minus 144 because of the teams. So those are your free plays for today.
Boom.
All right, that's it. Dan and I are going to go shovel some snow, get to our happy place.
Baby.
Be careful out there, guys. If it's cold, keep an eye on your pets. Keep an eye on others' pets. It's always one of my big concerns. So just keep your animals safe. So we'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Good luck on your bets. 4% NBA best bet is up, but go check out the specials page. You want long-term, you want short-term, there's always a discount up on that page. So go to the specials page at WagerTalk. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone Tuesday. Take care.